it with excuses.
Cool.
Okay.
Are you okay if I record? I just we're trying to do
Yeah,
some interviews and stuff like
sure.
that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, I'll stop talking. So I'm gonna turn you over to, I have three of our amazing cadets here. We have Emma, Jazz, and Megan, who are they're helping with the research on Lyme disease, and so they have some questions for you. And so I'll actually turn off my camera and I'll just let them ask you some questions.
Okay, I first have a question for them. Show me their camera, and then I'll ask them a question.
Perfect. They should be here now. Yep.
I see an opossum.
Can you see me, sir?
Oh, okay, you're not a possum. Okay. I'm sorry, for some reason a little picture of a possum showed up.
Okay.
Hi. So you're a
Hi.
cadet from where?
United States Air Force Academy.
Yeah, I know, but where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, New York.
Good for you. I'm sorry, where in New York?
Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. I've been there.
Pretty nice, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. So it's good to see your face.
Good to see
And
you, sir.
can your other two fellow cadets hear me now?
Yes, sir, they can.
They're all there? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're a cadet. You have to call me sir.
Mhm.
You can call me Evan if you can sneak and get away with it.
All right.
I know you're short. I'll just be very brief. Tell you, I've had an affinity for the Air Force Academy for probably 40, 50 years. I was the third baby born in Thornton, which is a suburb north of Denver. And one of my old high school buddies graduated from the academy. And I'll tell you a very short story. I'm sorry, I tell stories. He graduated and then went on to be a B-52 pilot. And for a long time flew B-52s out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. And then we stayed in contact for a long time. For a while, he was out of Shreveport. What's the Air Force Base in Shreveport? Barksdale. And we were living in New Orleans at the time, so we would visit each other. And we got a tour of his B-52. And I'm sorry, I'm telling too many stories. Anyway, then he got transferred to Edwards Air Force Base. And by the way, I spent my entire career with Lockheed Martin, Space Systems Company. Almost all of it, well, a good part of it in Denver, where we built rockets and lots of spacecraft. I was not an engineer. I was a PR guy. So I supported, we lived in New Orleans for 8 years where I supported the space shuttle program. Oh, it's funny. You kids, pardon me, you wonderful cadets are probably learning about the space shuttle as history. I lived it. And the Titan and Atlas rockets and supported, we built spacecraft that went to every planet, including Pluto, even though we don't call that a planet anymore, and scientific studies, satellites. And so I had a wonderful career. And anyway, so my buddy who was with the Air Force transferred to Edwards Air Force Base. And I guess I knew, pardon me for just a second, I have 2 cochlear implants. The battery just died. And terrible timing, but without it, I can't hear you. Take me 10 seconds here to put a new battery in. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so I sent him, we didn't have cell phones or emails back then or text or any of that stuff. So I sent him a letter and he just kind of like blah, blah, blah. Didn't really answer my question. Well, it turned out later he was one of the first pilots to fly the B-2. Uh-oh, I lost your sound.
Oh, that's pretty cool, sir.
Oh, you're back. Anyway, so, and way back when the Air Force Academy was part of the Western Athletic Conference, you all used to play my alma mater every year, once a year at the Academy and then the next year in Provo, Utah. I went to Brigham Young University. So I used to love going to the BYU Air Force games. And okay, I'll shut up, and that's enough about me unless you want to ask more personal questions. I know your time is short. Thank you. I apologize again for the mix-ups in getting us together. The earlier before today, chalk it up to being really, really sick because of Lyme disease. Today, I don't know, but because I have Lyme disease. so I have at it. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, sir. So our first question was going to be, when were you diagnosed with Lyme disease?
About 6 years ago, but I probably have had the disease for 13 years. I'm like most Lyme people. It's very difficult to diagnose and to get a diagnosis, particularly out west in New York, Virginia, Maine, blah blah blah, back east, northeast. You know, it's so common it probably gets diagnosed more quickly. Out in Colorado, almost no doctors here can spell Lyme disease. In fact, here's how I knew I had a competent or semi-competent doctor. They did not say Lyme's disease, plural. If they said, well, you have Lyme's disease, I knew, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so it took me a long time to get diagnosed.
Well, sir, on that note,
Where are you from?
do you ever remember getting bitten by a tick, or did you like get a bullseye rash and that's like how you knew, or was it something that you just kind of went to the doctor and they like that told you that's what you had?
Yeah, I just started getting really, really sick. And I don't remember getting bit. I never saw the bullseye rash. I've tried to be a forensic guy and go back and figure out where I got bit. Our corporate headquarters for Lucky Martin in Bethesda, Maryland, and I used to go there all the time and take walks in the woods. And once a year, we had a conference for the top PR people in the corporation at a place called Lansdowne Resort, maybe 10 miles east of Dulles Airport. And I would go walking in the woods there. My guess is I got bit one of those two places, but I don't know. What's your name? What's your name?
Sir, so the USAFA iGEM team is trying to develop a Band-Aid like patch that would be a biosensor. And if the Lyme disease bacteria, Borrelia burgdorferi, are present, the sensor would turn a color to indicate an infection. So would that be something that could help prevent Lyme disease?
I hope you develop it, and I hope you all get very rich doing so. I know millions of people would love to buy one, especially people in the Northeast. Every time they go walk in the woods, they'd slap one of your Band-Aids on. I think it's a wonderful idea.
And sir, we just have one more question. It's kind of a big one, but if you could teach the world something about Lyme disease, what would it be?
Number one, that it's real. Can't tell you how many doctors, as I say, like many Lyme patients, I went through lots of doctors, day-long tests, many tests, and they'd all scratch their heads and say, gosh, we don't know. We can't find any reason for you to be sick. And I said, I'm not making up 104-degree fever, lying under 4 blankets with chills. I'm not making up you guys have heard of the term Herxheimer's? Yeah, I'm not making up all the crazy Herxes that I have. And I could spend all day telling you about the weird stuff that's happened to me. But so number one, it's real. So don't give me this baloney about it. It's all in my head. Secondly, be patient with us patients. It's even after I got diagnosed, I went to 4 doctors here in the Denver area. One day I sort of had an epiphany. I thought, well, geez, why don't I go to the University of Colorado? It's a medical teaching hospital, so surely they have the latest and greatest technology, protocols, medicine, whatever, right? Long story short, I went to see them, and it's like they were all reading off a memorized script. She said exactly the same thing 3 other doctors had said. Well, you know, sir, there's no cure for Lyme disease. And in fact, there's not even any officially medically approved, like Western medicine approved treatment for it. So I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. Good luck. Go see a shaman or alternative medicine. So I have tried all kinds of, I could make you laugh with the alternative things I've tried that nothing's worked for me so far. I have friends, curiously enough, 3 of us in our church congregation here in Castle Rock have it, which in Colorado is very unusual. So we compare notes, and we laugh at the same creepy things that happen to us, but different things help other people, and I haven't found the magic silver bullet for me yet. So number one, it's real. Number 2, be patient with us patients. Number 3, people like you go find a cure. Yay.
Well, thank you, sir. We really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else you'd like to add or talk about in the last few minutes?
Yeah, one of the questions I thought you might have asked me is, how has this changed my life?
Mhm.
I could spend the rest of the day telling you how it's changed my life. Sorry, I get a little choked up here.
Mhm.
Bottom line is, kind of ruined my life. I was an executive for a Fortune 50 big aerospace company. I wasn't a rocket scientist, but I worked with them. And so I wasn't a dummy, not a rocket scientist, but not a dummy. And I went from being Mr. Reliable, Mr. Dependable in all facets of my life, at church, in the community, at home. I raised 3 sons. I was a scoutmaster most of my adult life with the Boy Scouts. All 3 of our sons are Eagle Scouts. A lot of boys would tell you I changed their lives. And I was an executive for a big company, aerospace company. And I was on boards of directors of, big nonprofit organizations. So I was really reliable and Mr. Dependable. The story I tell to illustrate that is, if the president of the company secretary came into our offices of the PR staff at 5 p.m. on a Friday and said, yikes, the president needs a speech on X subject tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. and it's got to be done and it's got to be good, I got the assignment and I would do it, and I would do it extremely well. I went from that and a guy who played basketball. And have you guys climbed any of the 14ers in Colorado yet? Do they let you do that?
I haven't gotten around to it yet, sir.
All right. Well, I've climbed 39 of the 54. So I was a pretty capable, very dependable guy. And I went from that to having my entire life upended I'm Mr. Unreliable. I have 3 wonderful sons, beautiful daughters-in-law, 10 of the best grandchildren on the planet. Although Jordan, I think your in-laws would argue with me about that. I happen to know Jordan's in-laws for a long, long time. I've known them for a long time. And I almost always miss family gatherings. You're catching me on a reasonably good day. I'm sick a lot. I live in an assisted living facility now. Long story why, but partly because I'm sick. And so it upended my life. As my wife likes to say, our expectations are not being met. This is not what we thought life would be like in retirement. And 12 years ago, I was forced to retire. I mean, I volunteered to retire at age 57. I'll be 69 in a couple of months because I was just sick all the time, really sick. And only discovered 6 years later that I had Lyme. So that was part of the frustration. It was for 6 years, I was really sick. And I think a lot of my family and friends and workmates all thought I was crazy, really thought I was loony.
Wow.
So
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, sir.
Yeah, it's terrible stuff. So good luck to you in whatever you do.
Yeah, we appreciate your honesty and your willingness to talk with us today. We've definitely learned a lot. It's going to help us project or present our project, that we talk to the people who this will impact. This is not just trying to find a cure to find a cure. We want to find a cure or find a solution to help the actual patients. Does anyone else?
I think that's wonderful. So tell me, I didn't know people at the Air Force Academy cadets did this kind of research. I thought you were all training to be engineers or pilots. No?
So there's a lot of different research opportunities here at the Academy. We are all biology majors, so we can work to try and solve problems such as this.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, really, God bless you, and I really wish you the greatest of success. And thank you for putting up with me getting to this meeting and for this time today. I appreciate it.
Of course, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evan. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to finally connect. It was exactly what we were hoping to hear. We're just trying to talk to people that are real live, living with Lyme and suffering through it, just to help give it perspective in, like we're doing the research with the cadets, but it's good for them to to see and understand the importance and the urgency of all this. So thank you. And the cadets do have to run to class, so I apologize, we don't have more time, but thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to just being in touch, and yeah, best of luck with everything you're going through.
Thank you, and I'm glad we made this connection.
Cool. Yep. Thank you, Evan. Yep, we'll see you.
Take care.